All right, man. So I wasn't going to dip my toe inside this water, but a lot of people are complaining about this, and way too many people are complaining about this for me to keep my mouth shut about it. That's usually how I decide what I'm going to be covering in terms of what's unfair for the free-to-play players. It's usually just based on how many people dislike the change, because if more people dislike the change than the amount of people who like it, and then those people that dislike the change end up leaving and the people who liked it end up staying, that means we lost more players than we managed to keep, which can ultimately affect my channel, and I do not want that. Of course, I can just rebuild with the new players coming in, but I would much rather have my long-term subscribers stick around. So we're gonna talk about this. I don't really understand this change either. I didn't like it when they first announced it. I didn't like it when they first added it to the game. It was just a change that didn't make very much sense to me, because like, at what point will you stop making characters limited when you release them? Because at the point that we're at right now, I believe Mochin, or was it Black Crow, it was one of their releases that they ended up doing this and putting characters locked behind time limited events. And I'm not sure at what point they're going to start making those characters available to be bought with gems again. And on top of that, even the characters that were released before they decided to make this change, like the really good ones, like you look at Sarah, she's really good for cheesing inside the paint. You look at Zachary, really good for cheesing inside the paint. He gives S+ on the dunk, S on the power. Really good assist character to have inside your assist slots. Sarah, the absolute best close shot and rebound assist character in the entire game, for characters like Big O, for characters like Howie, who specialize in scoring on the inside. So yeah. Katiusha too, you can get close shot and some rebound to go with that to help her flick just a little bit more than it is right now. So the assist slot is the main thing that I'm worried about. Now, not being able to use these characters, it's not that big of a deal to me, but I wanted to get Zachary so that I could get more jump on my May. I wanted to get Sarah so I can get more close shot on my May. And now I cannot get them without spending absurd amounts of money, like 50 bucks for a single character. And it simply just does not make sense. I wanted to get Boa because she gives steal at S and speed at S and pass at S. It's just a really good assist character all around. And I do not have access to her unless I spend 50 bucks on a single character. And Raccoon Digi, in all honesty, I don't see a single character inside this game that is worth 50 bucks, because against a decent team, any of these characters can end up being trash, especially if somebody on the other team specializes in stopping that character. And you got cheese characters like Silverwolf, you got cheese characters like Randy, cheese characters Zachary, Sarah, Edward. Most of the cheese characters are locked. So the people who got them before they were locked, they have an enormous advantage over the people who are cheesing weaker characters like Kiang, cheesing weaker characters like Alto. Alto isn't really that bad ever since it's changed with the lightning dunk, but he's still a pretty good character. But compared to the other cheesers like Zachary, compared to the other cheesers like Randy and Edward, it simply just does not compare. You could argue that you could get Conan instead of Edward, but Conan does not have access to a lightning dunk. Conan does not have access to a dunk pass that can do an alley-oop. He also does not have access to the screen-based abilities that Edward has. There's just so much utility Edward has in comparison to Conan, and the only thing Conan has over Edward is a three-point shot. And you could pick Randy for that. Of course, he was like the backup option for a lot of Conan spammers because he could shoot the three, and he could also cheese dunks, but no one has access to Randy without spending like 50 bucks. So yeah, Raccoon Digi, don't understand it. You should probably revert this change. You take rubies out of the season pass, the 100 that we got for buying it. That's completely fine. We understand. We're getting more than $10 worth of value from the season pass. You take the initial purchase rubies out of the memberships. Okay, that's fine. We're getting 3 times the value for what we spent on those rubies over time. But you make characters locked behind events, and it just becomes trivial at this point. And then you're introducing purple gear. I mean, not purple gear, but orange gear. You're introducing ace tier. There's just way too much stuff inside this game that we have to spend real money on. And it just seems like grinding inside this game doesn't matter anymore, because no matter how much you grind, you will not get the rubies to get these characters locked behind events. No matter how much you grind, you will not be able to unlock some of these characters and get those good assist stats that you want. So all right, man, go ahead and drop y'all opinions down in the comments. I'm not quite fond of this change right here. Now, the rubies being removed from season pass and the initial purchase rubies from memberships makes perfect sense, but this right here, this makes no sense at all. So that's it. Now catch y'all on the next one.